Take a moment to remember your favorite game from when you were younger. What made it so fun and why did you enjoy it so much? Now think about a game that you hated, and why did you dislike it? Now a majority of people will only remember the good aspects of the video game that they really enjoyed, and never the flaws. Old games like the original Pokemon, Modern Warfare, and Mega Man all have garnered great reviews from critics and gamers all over the world. Some saying that these titles are flawless, and even go as far as saying that these games are some of the franchise's best. But what I've noticed is that a majority of these people are being blinded by gamers' nostalgia, where like I stated, they tend to forget the huge flaws that these games had. Nostalgia is like a file that removes the rough edges around good memories. The older we get, the more we tend to filter out bad experiences. So today, let's discuss gamers' nostalgia, and why your favorite game might not be as good as you thought it was. So let's get the basics out the way. What is nostalgia? Well, the word comes from nostos, which means homecoming, and the word algo, which means an ache or a pain. So we can define nostalgia as wanting a familiarity or an aching for home. For many as gamers, we all started our gaming venture at a young age. My early gaming consoles were the PlayStation 2 and the Game Boy Advance, so I grew up with games like Pokemon. I never really played the original Red and Blue games. I did, however, get the chance to play Leaf Green and Fire Red remakes, but my first real Pokemon games were Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. I bring this up because I noticed something. People hold Gen 1 to such a high standard that any type of new entry is immediately hit with criticism. People fail to notice how much innovation is put in these new games. Take Pokemon X and Y for example. One of the main criticisms of the game is the lack of post-game content and how easy the game was because of the new experience share. Even though X and Y isn't my favorite game, I can clearly acknowledge the vast amount of innovations the game's brought, like the new EXP share, even though I mentioned people hated it, but it was really good for new players, and it was an innovative way to train your Pokemon. They also introduced character customization, and a new way to travel on the map with the skates, and a freaking mega evolution. So on paper, all of these innovations almost made me feel like this was a fresh game, but yet so much people were not fond of it. Why? Well, that goes to my next point. One of the side effects of nostalgia is a resentment of change. From what we have seen in the gaming community, even though we are avid about developers making changes in our games, when these changes are implemented, there's a sudden divide in the community. I've noticed that this is only a problem with long-running titles. Of course, the gamer's defense. When long-running games constantly release games with little to no innovation, it's reasonable to say that these gamers hate it because it feels the same rather than being a side effect of nostalgia. However, there are some games that release yearly that make drastic or real noticeable changes to their games, and for some reason, people just hate it. Now, Call of Duty, despite the popular belief, always innovates in all their titles. I've come to notice that in the past 4 years, each title of the franchise drastically differs from the other. But when we talk about the best game in the franchise, nobody brings up these titles. Why? Well, with two of these titles being Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, this is when Call of Duty made some of its biggest changes to the boost jumping. I think this change is what really divided everyone, because we were used to simplistic gameplay of the old Modern Warfare games, that when the core aspect of the game changed, it became unfamiliar. I remember specifically when Advanced Warfare came out, the community was outraged. They were saying things like Call of Duty was trying to copy Halo or how lost the franchise was, but I think Advanced Warfare is where Call of Duty finally decided it wasn't scared to innovate. When we cling on to nostalgia for our enjoyment in video games, it clogs our inability to recognize innovations. Infinite Warfare added health bars, it had the best microtransaction roadmap of any Call of Duty. All you had to do was get the season pass and you get all the guns for free, and if you couldn't get the season pass, all you had to do was some challenges. They had way more improved movement systems, and I honestly think that Infinite Warfare's movement system was a little better than Black Ops 3. And of course, the salvage system. The list goes on, but the community hated it because they wanted to go back to its roots. Okay, so I don't want to go on a tangent because I think you might be able to tell I really enjoyed Infinite Warfare, and I was one of the people who hated it at first out the gate. And I was definitely one of the people who left the dislike on like the 1 million dislike trailer video they got out there. But after trying it, I really enjoyed it. And when World War II came out, I felt like Call of Duty went backwards. They tried to impress old fans, but the game felt too similar to the old Call of Duties, to the point where the innovations they tried to implement hindered the game from being good. I think the division system was pretty bad, and having it only so submachine guns can get suppressions was just a terrible idea. And then Black Ops 4 tried to capitalize on the success of Black Ops 3, but Treyarch was afraid of fan backlash, so they completely removed the advanced movement, and the game just felt like it had no spark. It was just an okay game. And this is where the disconnect between gamers and developers lies, because we think that we want something, but once it's implemented, we realize it's not actually what we want. And by then, it's too late. Nostalgia makes you remember just how good life was as a kid growing up playing video games. A time where we had no DLC, no day one patches, just simple, fun video games. But as time goes on and technology becomes more innovative and competitive, things just can't naturally just stay the same. With this video, I hope to get out the message that it's okay to try new things. If you've been playing only one type of genre of games simply because it's familiar, you should venture out and play a different genre because you might find something you might like. Be more open to change. As I look back to all the different type of games that people used to hate back in the days, I go back and play them and I think to myself, why did so much people hate this game? Okay, except this one, because Sonic 06 was just a piece of shit. So as we end this video, let's just take a look at what gaming has become. from broken and flawed mechanics to refined and more detailed capabilities. So instead of wanting so much of the past, let's look forward to the future. And please stop making so much damn remasters.